Hi friends! If you click to check out the new DANESSA MYRICKS Beauty Balm Contour, then please keep on watching. Hi, I'm Alicia. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things, all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. Welcome to another DANESSA MYRICKS beauty video. I am very happy to be filming because this is her newest addition to her complexion line. And DANESSA MYRICKS, if you have not heard of her, an amazing makeup artist and photographer, and I had the pleasure of attending DANESSA's workshop back in October for the makeup show. Even with all what was happening, the makeup show still held her workshop. I originally signed up for it months before, but because of you know what, it had to be postponed. It was constantly being moved, but the makeup show managed to still host DANESSA anyway. We were all masked up, we were practicing social distancing, and such a pleasure to see DANESSA work her magic and just to share her perspective on her makeup and how she photographs her models. Now, I do want to film another DANESSA video in another overview of her brand because the first video I did was more of a first impressions. Now that I had attended her workshop and I had been using them more thoroughly, I have a much better idea as to why DANESSA formulated the products that she did, the reason why her Vision cream cover is so pigmented, and why she has all these illuminating veils. So we'll get into some of that today, but we're going to primarily focus on her new Balm Contour. This is an exciting product because the range is outstanding. She has 3 different contour shades for light, medium, and deep. I purchased all 3 of the medium. I know that is excessive. I would not recommend that you buy 3 different medium tone contours for you, but because of the position that I'm in, and if you're wondering about all 3, and I consider myself to be, it's really like the light medium category, but that's why I bought all 3, so we could find out together which one is best. I'm headed over to DANESSA's website now to give you some product details. The Balm Contour retails for $26. It weighs in at a whopping 10 grams or 0.35 ounces of product. It has a suggested shelf life of 12 months, designed in the USA and made in China. What it is, an easy to use, weightless, super blendable and buildable balm to give your cheekbones a natural, effortless, yet impactful lifted and sculpted appearance. What it does is infuse with hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, flower extract, and meadow foam seed oil to hydrate and nourish the skin. We can expect this to reduce the appearance of fine lines and pores, to provide a smooth, flawless finish, to melt effortlessly into the skin for the most undetectable, natural look. Instructions on how to use: use your fingers, a sponge, or a brush. Wear alone and blend along natural contours of the face for a naturally sculpted appearance. Wear under foundation for a more subtle sculpted effect. Wear over foundation for a more defined sculpted effect. Can be applied over powder. The one sculpting product DANESSA had on her line before the introduction of the Balm Contour was her Power Bronzer. Now this comes in just 3 shades, whereas again the Balm Contour I believe comes in at a total of 8. You have 2 shades for light, 3 for medium, and 3 for deep. And back to the Power Bronzer, this is more of, I would say it's a very interesting texture in that DANESSA wanted to create something that was not a powder bronzer because she's not particularly one to use a lot of powders. Every time she photographs her model, she wants the model's skin to look just radiant and luminous from within. In order to present that finish, you will most likely have to use a cream, and the Power Bronzer is formulated to have more of like a cream powder finish, so it still presents itself as a skin-like finish. It doesn't look powdery and textury on top of your foundation, whether you use the Vision cream or another foundation. This is in medium, and I have used this in the past, and back in my original DANESSA video I wasn't impressed by it because again I don't think I really understood its role, didn't have a handle on the formulation, but after using it a few times I now understand this is designed to give a more soft sculpted look, so you would apply this over your foundation or even over powder. Again, this is formulated to be very versatile in what you choose to blend on or over it. Now with her Balm Contours, and I did try these last night, I just put them back in the box for presentation's sake. You have the color on the top of the box designated by a specific tone. This is medium 3, and the actual compact is made out of plastic. It has the DANESSA logo here on the front and a silver mechanical closure clasp here on the bottom that you press to open the compact. You have your Balm product here, again a whopping 10 grams. That's a lot of product. A mirror inside that comes edge to edge, and you have the latch here that closes securely, so no fear of it dislodging in your bag, but I highly doubt it will if you stack them tightly with other compacts. Let's get into these swatches alongside the shade descriptions. Medium 1 is for light medium to medium complexions. Medium 2 is for medium to medium tan complexions. Medium 3 is medium tan to tan complexions. Here are the swatches again side by side. You see that they slightly vary not only in shade but in undertone, and I have to say, when I tried these for the first time last night, the tones of these shades, I feel, for the medium part of the spectrum presented here for the Balm contours are just beautifully well done. I understand that contours are meant to have a more shadowy effect, but for me, if you are within the medium tan category, you might naturally lean a little more. Well, that's always not the case. You could lean more neutral. I do sometimes. I consider myself to be neutral golden, but typically when I reach for a contour product, I rather it lean more neutral warm anyway, whereas something more ashy just looks a little artificial on me, and it doesn't look like a sculpt, even though I acknowledge the fact that contour is creating shadow and the shadow tone tends to lean more cool. I really love how these look. In terms of the texture, I think Balm is an appropriate name, as it's more emollient definitely than her power bronzer, but it's still not so slick that you feel you don't have control over the product or it'll just disappear into the skin and you have to keep reapplying. So I actually like that there's a little bit of tack to it, but again, it doesn't feel greasy, and as you see, as I just tap with my finger, it has a nice consistency to it, which leads me to the comparisons. Of course, I have to put these up against the Tom Ford duos as well as the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer. Now, I know those are not labeled to be contours, but I do consider them to be in the same category, okay? Here's a Tom Ford Intensity 1. Put that up against. I could immediately recognize that DANESSA's, even for her medium 1 swatch, has a little more warmth than Intensity 1 from Tom Ford. And the Tom Ford, as you see, I mean, packs a mighty punch on the first dab, but it blends out beautifully, as you know, because I have reviewed these before, and I'll be more than happy to post that video up above or down below. Here we have Intensity 2. Consider this to be a little more red leaning. Now, although this appears to have a little more punch than DANESSA's medium 3, DANESSA's medium 3 is just got some nice color in there. Now headed into the Fenty Cream Bronzer, going first in with number 3, Macchiato. And here we have a much lighter offering. Maybe it does compare to DANESSA's medium 1. I would say, just from off the bat, I think DANESSA has a little more punch than the Fenty, but I do believe Fenty Beauty's intent was not to create a super pigmented product, because I understand cream products can be a little intimidating to some beauty users, and they found that perhaps if it was not super pigmented, that people will feel more inclined to try. Number 4, in Teddy, I consider this to be the warmest of the bunch. That definitely leans a lot more orange. Dare I say, sometimes I have to mix honey glaze with something because it could look a little too artificially orange. And that's why I like DANESSA's, because it has warmth, but it has a good amount of brown in there to just neutralize the tone. And lastly, we have number 5, Teddy, the deepest of the ones I have from Fenty. And this takes on more of like a, dare I say, olive tone to the shade. So here we have again DANESSA's Balm Contour Medium 1, 2, and 3. We have the Tom Ford Intensity 1 and 2. And we have the Fenty Cream Bronzers, Macchiato, Honey Glaze, and Teddy. And in case you picked up the Burberry face palettes, I thought why not head into both fair to light medium and medium to dark. Here we go to fair to light. That is significantly deeper than any of the ones we swatched thus far. And then we have medium to dark. Here are all the swatches from all brands. Now it's funny how the Burberry just came through with the deepness, man. You can see that the shades might be similar, but the undertones are slightly different, whereas the one from the light to medium I feel leans a little more red brown, whereas the one from medium to dark is a little more neutral. I found that these blend out very well, so if you have the Burberry and you're fine with the Burberry, I understand. I think a little more practical to have a face palette in that you just have this one shade and not like a whole whopping 10 grams of Balm contour to use from DANESSA's compact. Taking an extra look in case you wanted to grab a screenshot for your reference in the future. Rolling into the demo now, applying the Balm contour on its own without any foundation and then on top of her Vision cream cover. And with that said, why don't you roll in a little closer? That's enough. Now, if you're still working professionally, I would highly recommend that you use a palette and or spatula, as it is more hygienic to go from product to brush to face, right? You will scoop some out, mix it up on whatever you got. It could be like an old yogurt lid or something, and then go in from there. But since it's just me, and it also can extend the shelf life of your product, but because I'm just a little lazy and I can always disinfect the product, I'll go in now with my Esum T47 from my Muse Beauty Pro collab. Dab on a little bit. A little goes a long way, let me tell you. And start punching it into the hollows of the cheeks. Now, this is just medium one. I could have probably got away with one of the light shades. Interesting to have discovered if it leaned significantly cooler. Now I'm doing this first just to show how it looks on bare skin without any product. And when I applied this last night, I was very impressed by the texture and how easy it is to blend. You saw it looked a little splotchy on the first application, on the first dab, but immediately upon spending a little bit of time, not much, just spreading the product and working it into the skin, I think it leaves behind a really beautiful finish. And in terms of the actual dry down, I would say it's more satin in a dry down, and I would expect that from DANESSA because she spoke at length about when photographing skin, she wants it to look radiant and luminous, and whenever you involve powder, you lose that radiance right away. So I would suspect and assume that she deliberately formulated this to have a little more of a satin finish so that it could appear like skin on photograph. And even here, I think it leaves a really nice luminosity behind. If you have better skin than me, if you don't have any of these PIH marks and just wanted to go in with this product, you can get a little bit of coverage just from the product alone, along with the sculpt, and be good to go. Now going in with medium 2, let's see how significantly different this appears. I'm detecting a little more, not necessarily warmth, but just depth of color. So I think this leans maybe a little more brown than red from medium 1. Medium 1 definitely has a little more like orange to it, which I don't mind. If you're into that, you'll definitely love medium 1 if you're around my complexion category of things. If you wanted a little more shading, however, medium 2 is a beautiful choice. So here is medium 1, and and I get you might consider this to be more of a bronzer. You're really not buying the whole contour label simply because this is warmer than your typical contour shade. So I would say if you have a shade that you much prefer already existing in your collection, you can pass these. But I really love cream products that are bronzing in nature because I typically would gravitate towards those shades and undertones anyway. I try to wipe that off with a paper towel. I know better. Really? Why would you do that to your face? Going in with the Bioderma, she's a lot more gentle. I don't have to rub as much, okay? A little gentle swiping here. I'm actually not going to moisturize either. I'm just going to let that dry so we could go in with medium number 3. Deepest of the ones I have. Same brush. Oh boy, I underestimated. I dabbed too much. I wiped off the excess from my T47, and I'm carefully working this into the skin. I'm bringing it in and around the temples and punching it in the hollows, bringing some under the jawline. Now, fun fact, I'm actually happy it looks like this, so you can see the color you can recognize is not only deeper shade, but I think the undertone is leaning a little more neutral than medium 1 and 2. Again, this is medium 2. Medium 1 was a little more warm on me anyway. And of course, medium 3 is deeper in color. Now, consider the options for you. If you're one to apply your cream contour or bronzer product first and then foundation on top, then I think this will be a great color if you want a softer sculpt, because maybe medium 1 will disappear under your foundation if you like to underpaint, which Danessa also loves to do with, I'm assuming now, her Balm contour and also her illuminating products, which we can play with as well. Let me wipe off medium 2. Last night I applied this over the Suku foundation and I loved how it looked. And for the rest of the month, I definitely will be playing with this with other foundations, but for today's sake and the fact that it's Danessa video, I'm going in full force with her complexion method. This is her beauty oil. I haven't used oil in ages, and I stopped because I didn't think it was vital for my skincare routine, but I do understand its importance, its significance when it comes to achieving, if you will, Danessa skin. She loves skin prep. She loves that just glowing, okay, texture. I'm happy to report that this oil in particular does not have any fragrance, but her Prism hydrating lotion does, which I was very disappointed about and still am, but whatever. She likes to use a brush to apply the oil on the skin, and this leans like a little more dry oil in nature because, you know, she don't want you to look greasy or anything, but I like it as prep. I mean, it gives a really nice radiance to the skin, and what she usually does now with her Vision cream cover that I observed from the get-go was very pigmented, but she wanted it like that on purpose so that you have the option to mix it with other products and it will not dilute in coverage. You had a little more control, and I understand that's more of a pro experience, not so much a consumer one. You just want to slap on the foundation and go. I have said this before, Danessa Myrick's Beauty is more pro leaning heavy, but if you love to mix and match and be Bob Ross about it, then please go ahead. I picked up the Vision cream cover in N05. I originally thought I was N06, but N06 is a little too warm for me, and N05 might be a little too pink. Both of them might be ideal, but you know, I didn't want to go too crazy during her Black Friday sale. The Prism hydrating lotion has like a golden radiance to it, but unfortunately this product has fragrance. It's okay, it's not the end of the world, but I much rather it not have it, you know what I'm saying? And just for shade reference, this is N05, and you probably are thinking, why did you do that? Mixing both the Prism lotion and Vision cover together, I thought N06 was my match, but I think it actually is N05. The Vision cream cover doesn't have fragrance, but the hydrating lotion does, unfortunately. Another advantage to applying oil first before your foundation is that you don't have to use as much foundation to get a nice spread across the skin, and therefore not rely on so much product, because when you start to layer product, you get texture, and that is very detectable on a photograph Danessa style. Like, she's all about the skin and trying to eliminate any risk of that artificial look of makeup appearing on the photograph. So here I have the Danessa N05 on with the Prism lotion and the beauty oil underneath, and of course just my skin with medium 3 contour. Going in with medium 1 T47 Esom brush, punching that on just so you can see how this behaves on foundation. I think it just blends beautifully into the skin. I like this formula is outrageously good, and I know the size might be very impractical for a single user. This is a lot of contour. If you're one to not use cream products anyway, then maybe this is not going to be a great choice for you. If you're dying to see how it looks, then sure, you can try it, but you know, be smart about what you know you're going to use and not use in your makeup arsenal. But medium 1 I think is a really pretty shade. Perhaps looks better on top of foundation. especially if you have a lot of warmth on bare skin. It won't look as warm, but I want to now apply medium 2 on top of medium 1. Same brush, a little higher now towards the cheekbone area, and you don't need a lot, just one dab onto the skin you go, and I think that's more than enough product. Medium 2 gives a really nice shading, I feel, on top of medium 1. If you're deciding between the two, I would go in medium number 2. I think it's a good balance of warm and neutral. It doesn't look overly warm, but you still have some color there. And I do believe it still has that sculpting effect. If you wanted to clean up under, I would take the brush you use to apply your foundation with, just to kind of sketch under there and get that nice cleanup. We kept medium 3 here on purpose so we can see how it looks together. I'm actually gonna go crazy, apply her illuminating veil in Luna right on top of medium 3, getting the full underpaint experience. Now her illuminating veil has a little more, is this glitter? I really can't identify the particles in this formula. I haven't found an ideal brush to apply this with. Maybe fingers, but I think fingers is okay too. Maybe fingers is a little better. It could also be this specific shade, but I wanted to apply this first and then go in with Vision Cream Cover. Going again with Prison FX and 05. I insist on using the hydrating lotion because again, that dilutes the coverage a little bit so it doesn't look so heavy on the skin. This time I'll go in with my T47 and dab instead of swipe like I did on the other side, and see how medium 3 comes through. And I'm not using a whole lot of vision cream either. I mean, this stuff packs a punch and is purposely not formulated with water, so you can successfully mix this with any medium you like and you will not compromise on the coverage. Not bad. You still kind of see the sculpt. So if you're one to do your sculpting before foundation and you're around my shade range, maybe medium 3 will be for you. That looks phenomenal. It looks natural. It doesn't look muddy at all. It just melts into the skin. It definitely looks like the sculpt is coming from me, okay? Fantastic method to rely on if you think applying contour or anything on top of your foundation always appears as too heavy. You can definitely take on this technique to achieve a softer sculpt look, but not lose the contour entirely. We have medium 3 under. Why don't we go in with medium 1? I have to, I keep forgetting. I gotta dab off some because this stuff, it shows up on top of medium 3, and look, that's not bad either. Very nice. I think like that nice brown tone from medium 3 is a great foundation for medium 1 if you feel medium 1 is a little too warmy orange. I know nothing about undertones and mixing or anything. I think DANESSA is just a genius when it comes to that. So I might be off in my evaluation, but just from seeing in the viewfinder and in front of my mirror, and I am in front of natural light to give you a better representation of how the color appears, I do really love how these shades layer. No matter how you combine them, they look natural. They look like a skin tone that can exist on the real human skin spectrum. They don't look muddy. They don't look like they're canceling each other out. And I feel that can make the user confident in knowing whichever shade you decide to purchase is going to work out some way or somehow. To put a little lip gloss on. Good old Lisa Eldridge, Go Lightly Gloss Embrace. What do we think, fam? How do we look? Here is a close-up of the texture. This side we went in with medium 3 first, on with Vision Cream, followed with Vision Cream Cover, and then medium 1 on top. Then we applied beauty oil, the hydrating lotion, and Vision Cream Cover as we did on this side without the oil. Applied medium 1 on top and a little bit of medium 2 near the cheekbone. Let's go in medium 3. Now, when you go in with medium 3, it adds significant depth, especially when you're applying it on top of your foundation. Let me go with my Sony G mini base, just so I can have a better, more precise placement here. The T47 would work, but if you fear it will get away from you in terms of the spread, then I would then use a smaller brush, and you immediately see how much depth that adds. But listen, if you want a stronger sculpt, just go with medium 3, fam. Just go in with it. It's going to give you that depth of color. It's going to give you that warmth still, but if you're one to go heavier with the contour and the bronzer, then this shade I would go with. Using the T47 just to further buff in the product so it could all melt together. And I appreciate how my skin looks. I don't think it looks heavy, despite the fact that we applied 3 contour shades on this side already. But know that I went in lightly. I wouldn't overload the brush. I will go in with 1 dab, which leads me to assume that this product will last you for a very long time. I think it looks phenomenal. I love the sculpt. I do. It looks so pretty. Another product I tried for the first time is her Vision Flush, which has fragrance too. The Balm contours do not, and I probably added a note maybe earlier in the video because I failed to mention that during the product detail section, but whatever. This is in Tiara, and I really love this for highlights. I much prefer over the illuminating veil. If you wish to apply any cream type of highlight on top of your foundation rather than under. I think it has a really beautiful texture. It melts effortlessly into the skin and just leaves behind a beautiful radiant look. And why not? Let's go in with a little bit of N04 just to finish off what we got going on the rest of the face. I'm placing this under the eyes, using my finger to blend that out. Now, ideally, I would have mixed this first, either on the back of my hand or the palette, but just for the sake of time, I'm quickly blending this in with my finger, which I would recommend to get the best natural looking finish. Again, this is more of a first impressions. I only used it yesterday, and I want to keep using it on top of the Fenty Beauty Powder Foundation because, again, you can use this on top of powder. But we're just finishing things off here, friends. Her Lightwork palette, which is just devastatingly beautiful. Again, Danessa rarely uses powder, but if she will, it is formulated to be very light and almost creamy in texture, so it doesn't appear like it's sitting on top of the skin, and the powder finish will not be detectable on a photograph. Her Vision Flush in Bread and Butter, which is a beautifully toned medium pink shade. Taking a little bit of that again with my T47. Now, her Vision Flush blush products, they pack a punch, let me tell you. They got a lot of beautiful color, and the range is just gorgeously wide. So you can get pink, you can get red, orange, purple. I mean, the blush shades are phenomenal in her Vision Flush line. If she is going in with powder, I mean, she's going in with it light. This is in number 2. This is more of like a yellow toned beigey type of a hue. I'm going lightly like on the node right here and just in and near under the eyes, not on the whole under eye area, just around the portions that need a little less shine. I picked up her Color Fix Matte in Gingerbread, and I thought it'd be a nice base to apply on the eyes, and going in with one of her Twin Flames. Now, although I dubbed this product as a rehearsal one in my latest December faves, I'm still giving this a shot. Like, I haven't completely given up on it, and some of you had recommended really great suggestions on how to get the best out of this product, or the most out of this product rather. I saw that I think it's more successful when applied on another shadow and tapped around the edges here. So you saw I didn't pull it through from the middle. I kept the majority of the product on the center of the eye, and now whisking away the edges so that shine can remain on the lid. Maybe we'll go in with Forever on this side. Same thing, keep the majority of the product on the center and then buff on the edges. Having the Color Fix, I think, helps a lot because it is a waterproof product and perhaps just has a nice latch on the Twin Flames. Obsession on both eyes. Taking some of Lover here on the lower lash line, then some Lover here on this side. Tapping on a little bit of Color Fix Glaze, which was recommended to me, I believe, Cindy. Thank you so much. And I tried this last night. Unfortunately, the Twin Flames did break up. So perhaps if any of you have a suggestion on how to apply this better, it does add more shine. As you see, it takes away a little bit of the Twin Flame. So I might have to use a brush instead, because perhaps my fingertip is picking up too much product. But I wanted to give this product another go, okay? Because I don't hate it. I was just expecting a little more from it. That's all. Little mascara. Here's a close-up of the finished look, primarily using the Balm contour from DANESSA MYRICKS Beauty and with many others from her line. I hope this review was helpful to you friends in regards to the info and the swatches, the demos, and the comparisons. Let me know if you plan on picking up DANESSA's Balm contour, if you already have, what shades that you chose, and also share your foundation shade in case anyone in the fam down below has the same one as you and you're trying to figure out which shade to go with. We could definitely help each other out in choosing the correct one. And until next time, friends, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another review, tutorial, DANESSA MYRICKS Beauty Extravaganza, monthly favorites, daily vlog, or live chit chat. Take care, and I will see you again soon.